Okay, so today we're going to be working on patterns you can play for bhajans, because eventually we're going to want to be playing with other musicians, so we can start with bhajans. So we have, on our previous lesson we talked about 8-beat cycles and we talked about 6-beat cycles. Most bhajans are in 8 beats or 6 beats. And most of the 8-beat patterns that you play for bhajans are called karavas. There are many variations of karavas. But the easiest one, and that's really common, if you know this one, you can play with any bhajan that's in 8 beats. You have to know if the bhajan's in 8 beats first. If the bhajan is in a different number of beats, you can't play this. It has to be 8-beat bhajan. So it's called BHAJANI THEKA. THEKA is like a set pattern. And we'll learn all about THEKAs in other lessons. So BHAJANI, it's using the bowls that we already know: din, na, and tin. So 3 bowls that we already know, but playing them in a kind of a fancy pattern. So I'll say it first, and you should be able to keep the laya with your hand when you say the pattern. So din, na, din, na, tin, na, din, na. So that's 8 beats. Din, na, din, na, tin, na, din, na, din, na, din, na, tin, na, din, na, din, na. First 2. Din, na, and din, na. So din, na, din, na. So that the first 2 beats are on the beat. The first 2 bowls are on the beats. Din, na. Din, na. So when you're saying it, you should be able to know where the beats are. Din, na, din, na. So those 2 dins are in between the 3rd beat. Din, na, din, na. So din, na, din, na. The 3rd beat is blank. You don't play anything on the 3rd beat. This is why laya is very important. So you have to know where the beats are and be able to play on the beats or off the beats or whatever, but it has to be always even. Din, na, din, na. Din, na, din, na. Tin, na, tin, na. Right? So the first half, or you're playing everything on the baya with gaze. The second half, it turns to tins. First half dins, second half tins. Din, na, din, na. Tin, na, tin, na. Din, na, din, na. Tin, na, tin, na. Din, na, din, na. Tin, na, din, na. Din, na, din, na. Tin, na, din, na. Now this is a very important pattern because you work on dins and nas and making them sound distinct. Remember in the first lesson we talked about how din and na have to sound very distinct. So make sure that when you're playing din, you're hitting in the sur. And when you're playing na, you're hitting the kinar. also important because the baya plays melody here. So if you're not in the proper position on the baya, you're not going to be able to play the melodies. So if like you're back here and you're playing like this, right? You can't make these kind of melodies. Listen to the melodies. Dins in the second half also. It's not strict like that. So you can add dins where you want. It's improvisational. See, I'm adding pressure when I push down on the gob. It creates that melody. I push down and release, you know. See, that's why you need to be in the proper position. So. Din na din din na din na din din na 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're not playing the third beat and the seventh beat are blank. So if you were to write it out, din na, right? The third beat is blank and the seventh beat is blank. Tin na, tin na. Okay? But it's, you know, tabla is traditionally not really written down anyways. It's about memorizing the pattern and not reading it from the paper, right? My guru, Zakir Hussain, does not like us to read from our paper if we've written it down. He wants us to memorize patterns. So that's the way it's traditionally taught. So that's that one. It's called BHAJANI THEKA. So that's an important one. So next lesson we will do a 6-beat pattern.